So I'm testing the sound. Okay. All right. So the first part, just as you got the idea of which our focus is on the next week, the crit number 2, holding the 65% marks, but also the 51%, 15% in the MiniCrit-1. Your magazine 1 have some effect, but you don't need to like revise it right now. So focus on everything on your magazine number 2, your presentation on the PowerPoint that I'm going to talk, and the model, right? So these are the items you'll be talking. Got it? Now, if you see the overall project, that means this is everything you design is being presented. And take this next few weeks until you need to submit on 16th of May, right? You know that. The very final graphic is submitting even earlier. I'm waiting out until the last day, but there is the very last for this, okay? Not in my hand, it's the school department, okay? Computer, you need to submit. And make sure you can submit early, not any late. There will be no excuse, actually. The whole department and other students will raise question, actually. Actually, we don't allow any late. So mark down that you finish everything by 15th of May, and 17th May, you have to come back to check. And from 20 May this week, we start the presentation. You'll get the schedule very soon. Okay? Yeah. Now let's focus back. So as I said, this JCFC holding 20% mark, but all the lecturers, that means our full-time lecturers, will mark. You will sometimes see guest lecturer coming, okay? Or like the part-time lecturer or the guest critic or other designer or alumni coming. They'll give you comments, okay? Even they might give marks, but we don't count it for your marking to be more consistent. Understand? So if someone comes from external, the comments are important and valuable to give a viewpoint, but to be consistent, we don't count their marks. Understand? So that because every student don't have the same person there. Got it? All right. So then get this idea very clear. Now, this 20% more take it, this part of journey is more like a polishing. Polishing is always good. Design, you may need some polish, but more focus on the telling your story, a nice presentation design. Okay? This week, 3 weeks. Understood? So that's why we call it production phase. Is it clear? So these 3 weeks will be production. Mean like you, and that's need a very much clear kind of planning, because this is not in your hand. You have to go to banner shop. You have to book Alex for laser cutting. If you have any 3D printing, if you have other kind of outsourcing, even for example, if you plan for do some kind of rendering. I mean, I did my animation and model, but I take a outsource my rendering. You can do that, and you need to declare. Okay, you understand? So for you need a small animation. I took external help to do the animation. You can do that, okay? Outsource. And then you say that this animation was done by with support of external help, but all the model and everything is made by me. And even the video instruction, everything is by me. So I'm basically work as a designer of it and the main production of things. But then the animation technique you see is not by me. Understood? So this way you can still outsource to present your project better. And that's fine, because in real practice, we also do outsource some of the detailed things, okay? I mean, not the design and creativity part, but more like a production part. You understand? For example, this laser cutter was done outsourced, right? This 3D printing, sorry. If you were, you can also do that, actually. Now, we'll be talking more detail next week, because you have to immediately the next few weeks you have to work. But I think I can tell you right now, don't go for a 3D printing for the whole model, okay? But more print like a part by part and then combine things, okay? That looks much better. Understood? Understand this? Okay, so I'll talk in more detail in item by item later on. Okay, let's focus on this next week first, the MiniCrit. So if you go through the project brief, this one, like the big project brief I give, and also in the top of your Moodle, it's called the overall project brief. And here you see that we working in the different schemes so far. So this was that part one, okay? And then part two, you are working all three. This is more like a design scheme. This is the schematic scheme. Schematic means behind the real spatial design. Okay? Even for example, you may work if you have the same schematic, but in the design phase, you will have show very different design actually because of the how you apply 3D language and everything. Now here you are working also into two scales. So one is like you make a block diagram or program for the whole building or whatever floor you need. Okay, not whole building means like say like for example Cherry say that she need 2 floors, right, or 3 floors, or Manahil need 4 floors to complete the whole proposal. Okay, so this is in the block diagram level. I mean, my project is like that, but then you are limiting selected area, right? For example, Manahil's project, only first floor, right, is 8,800 square meter already. Is it that? Or part of the second floor? Then you are designing floor plan and everything in detail. So same for Cherry also, if I remember, right? You are working on 2 floors, and total is 800 square feet or plus minus is okay. That means first part is you already know that you can take up freedom of choosing as much as space you need. But then for designing, floor planning, everything, you are limited to 800 square feet, or even I write down as 750 square meter because conversion, okay? But 800 square meter also okay, plus minus like that. Understand? Or even few plus minus, it doesn't matter. But it gives you an idea. What is the size? Don't let you to do bigger than that. You cannot control. You understand already. Got it? So this is you are floor right now. You are working and you already have a selected area. And here also, one thing, this 3 scale is very much expected. You already done floor plan or struggling with it until last week, some of you. And at the same time, I was talking about you should have room scale. I mean, you stand up a particular space, it's detailing. Okay, how does it look like? What is your thought about visual detail, materiality? Thoughts about like how the space is long, big, small, right? Like basically working with the perspective, talking about the space. So that kind of things also should be there as part of your design. I mean, what is the look of your different spaces? At least the features, important spaces. So some of you already started even during the past, in the middle, like you were talking about your vision or idea. I asked you for a concept map. Sorry, what is called narrative experience map, right? Last time I remember Betty was drawing. A little bit I saw from Cherry, like, okay, what will be, or some ideas, sketches I saw from Manahil. So those are, when you start already thinking about the space, before you start in detail, you have some idea or imagination about that already. But now is the time to show in detail what is the space looks like. Got it? And again, when we started room scale, I showed you example with that project, right, on the table, that sports shop, right? That different space perspective is talking about all the detail and ideas. Anyway, and the last part is the objective scale is talking about if you have particular detail. Now for drafting, you also have to do this part C, okay, at least one. But for design, you need to like even go into, yes, 1 or 2 important features. Okay, I have a very interesting ceiling or feature wall or something. How does it work? Okay, what is like the digital cost? Now this one you already did a similar exercise uh, in the last two courses, right? Material and also in the working drawing. That is about the room number 302. You already like work in a room scale, room 302, right? Understand? So I think nothing more to explain here because you already worked a project, room number 302. So first of all, you work as a room scale in the semester one. Now you are working for the object scale, like a different feature you choose and try to do details. Okay. Is it clear? But there is a difference. There is one detail you are presenting in the drafting class or even part C is the construction detail, I mean the making detail. Okay. You can also share construction detail in the design, but the design class you can show more about the design detail. I mean, how it looks like very closely, how it's supposed to be together. Okay, so design detail and a little bit of idea about the construction detail together makes it like the details for the object level. So what's your creativity about something you are doing, okay, in more detail? Got it? You not just propose something, but you tell the way, okay, what it should be, more detail. So again, look at this project, the poster I put on the table. There are some detail about the display or some feature wall or some feature ceilings, right? And this is the design presentation. Got it? All right, so these are just to refresh your memories. And here are all the things. The item one supposed to be part one, okay? And after you are done the MiniCrit-2, then we'll all go back to the all items again, okay? The Crit-2. So at this moment, you don't need it for next week, okay? Magazine 1. Magazine 2, you need talking about your whole project, but how you are going to present it next week, because this one is going to talk about your part 2 development or the key items, okay? And I showed example from top-up programs or something, like how the magazine 2 is talking about the design part, okay? 2 magazine system. So here, for example, few things are there. I'm coming back to this point, okay? I think will be much easy. Model is another item, okay? And I also want to see a model, but how I'm going to tell you more detail. There should be material sample board at one selected area. Okay, one area, one sample on board only. Got it? And there should be development log, but this is more aiming at your JCFC, okay? Because you need to give an impact that and show or also make evidence that what is your background work, how thick and important. Somehow, last time I collected the development log was also very thin, and I give you feedback if you remember. Understood? So it was not satisfactory when you only 4 or 5 pages. So there was something. It's not supposed to look like that. And then there are bonus items that will keep adding the marks on top. I mean, understood? These are the must items, part A, for the very all together, okay? And these bonus items like walkthrough animation or walkthrough virtual reality, you can put actually the same thing, is just a slightly different output. But keep it to 3 minutes maximum. If you want to make an animation, blow up model for detail areas, you can make blow up models for particular areas that you room scale your drawing or detailing. You see some blow up models there I showed before, but I can go back again to show in detail. I think last time I talked about the model plus or right, because I can remember I showed that project from Michael last time that he made some blow up spaces there. Okay, but anyway, I'll repeat telling you back this thing. Any item to explain to your design? I mean, anything extra you think that can talk about my design project? Okay, and then any extra element in presentation kind of surprise, anything surprising. I mean, sometimes, especially focusing on the GCFC, okay, anything you want to put extra. For example, one year somebody presented a project, even make like a little bit of environment actually, okay, before the presentation starts. You see the fashion, I mean, you can look at that, how the fashion design students before or even last week by their practice, they have to create the show, right? The walkthrough, the production. You can look at the production, they have to make dress. Understood? They have to spend minimum $20,000 in each of, I mean, budget you can imagine. We can allocate. Now this year, you know, there is a scholarship, right? So Betty, let me know if you receive the money. Okay. This year, I think need to tell you back because you keep running at the end of the class. But there is a scholarship we allowed to give one student in each stream, okay, for the best, who is like doing very good development in the graduation project, so that give the money to make even a good finishing in the production cost. Understood? So this year, I mean, that's why that diagram also was important. We nominated one from graphic, one from interior. I think we also like have kind of cross-check, not only by my selection, but also all of us. So we know I nominated for Betty. So Betty will get some around $5,000, okay, from the one scholarship. Graphics also, there is one that got film has year one got one, year two got one actually. Same purpose, okay, production. Now for Betty, the 5,000, and if I see a good kind of finishing is going to happen next week, then Betty will share 1,000, right, for the rest of you, to if you need any production related, okay, so kind of like cost. Understood? And the 4,000 will be used by Betty's project. Sorry. So also you can understand this is also an expectation. Okay? We are giving you a budget to support you, but come up with a good presentation and finishing as well. Understood? Production, you understand. So for fashion, his dress is a production. He make a small dummy is a production. For graphics, they go to print, make the real prototypes of dummies. For your case, is the model or any other prototypes you make. Okay. So blow up project, sometimes you may have a detail. You can even make one-to-one scales prototype model or column. Understood? So prototype means like sometimes I make a small one piece of things to show how does it work. Or blow up models like one feature wall is small size, okay, to show the detail. Understood? Yeah. Okay. So I mean, these are kind of like extra items, always to surprise. Another year, one of our interior students, his project was about a storytelling center. I mean, he worked on a heritage building in Saigon, and then he wanted to talk about the Hong Kong's urban ghost, you know, urban legends, okay, this kind of thing. And he make a really nice presentation actually that day, making some sound and even music behind. Okay, so this was a preparation, remember. And he also make a newspaper look like the old days because he's talking about the old days. That gives some kind of like summary of the project and give to all the lecturers extra items, okay? But make an impression that wow, you're doing a lot of things and you can really do something as a creative designer. Understood? So these are the presentation element or environment, either for talking about your project in more detail or to create some kind of like technique of presentation or impression. And don't forget these books about the now time for the good diagrams. Okay, even hand drawing can be nice, but like how the nice diagrams can make impact. So the magazine 1 and 2 would be your permanent portfolio for future, right? How much you can go. So I'm coming back to that. So these are the items, okay, from A and B. And so this is like about the magazine 1. Next time we'll check how much you have been. So don't worry, don't worry, I say you should, or I mean, it should be more. So after this, crit number 2. After the crit number 2, right away next week, we'll start reviewing the magazine 1, 2 together. So that production, okay? Understood. We'll set few meetings. This is not a class time, but we set different time meetings, so book times, okay? And being working here. All right, so what you are going to present actually? Just a minute. Now, so far, any question, anything? I give a little bit short time to digest, and then I jump into the details. Any questions, anything? No? So you will find it under the MiniCrit-2 briefing, okay? Can you see this one? Understand? No, the recording will be there, but also the writing. I'm right. So MiniCrit-2, what you are going to do actually? The simple real practice. I stop and start again.